Going live.
I always make the going live song. Going live, going
Well, then
live.
I have to turn it into Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, Spider-Pig. Oh, I saw a trailer for
Look, it's doing the thing again. Like, there's always one that's like, I don't want to be on TV.
we saw the new trailer for the Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh, yes.
Oh, it looks so good, guys. It looks so good. The animation is amazing. And the Spider-Pig.
So, whenever Jesse watches all the movies.
Yes.
All the time. Like, he has one of those movie pass things at our local theater. At AMC. It doesn't matter. They will never do this. So, he's got the AMC pass.
I mean, if AMC wants to sponsor us, we'll be fine with that.
I'm not okay with that. I like watching things in Dolby. Anyway, so because he goes to the movie so often, I have to call dibs on films I would like to see.
I can imagine.
So, because otherwise I'm like, you watched that without me? You watched everything without me?
Yeah.
So, I've called dibs now on Spider-Man. I've called dibs on...
It's okay. I called dibs on First Man, so...
Yeah. That was one where he's like, am I waiting for you? I was like, I mean, yeah.
I actually, as soon as I saw the trailer, there's the joke that Nixie is an emotionless robot. And so I was joking with the group and I was like, you know how Nixie never shows emotion during movies? If you would like to see me cry, let's go see First Man.
In fact, I'm texting him right now.
Because
otherwise he'll plan it with someone else.
I still get verklempt watching Apollo 13. Like, legit.
But that's also because Tom Hanks is fucking Tom Hanks.
I know. No. I'm talking when the rocket launches is when I get verklempt.
That's fair.
Not necessarily the amazing Tom Hanks part.
Speaking of verklempt, nothing to do at all with sci-fi, but oh my god, the new Star Wars. I think I'm grieving. I'm grieving.
I got really emotional during Venom last night. It's actually surprisingly better than I thought it was going to be. Surprisingly, I enjoyed it. Tom Hardy, basically enjoyed Tom Hardy.
Nice.
So one thing before we start recording,
I
have to show you this thing. So, because my mom doesn't watch this part. If you do, go away. You don't watch this part. You only listen to it, so it's okay.
Okay, bye.
So, there's like this wedding thing coming up in a couple months, and I wanted to get my mom one of those handkerchiefs that's like, no ugly crying, or suck it up, bitch, or something like that, because I have that type of relationship where I can give my mom a handkerchief that says suck it up, bitch. Or the other one I was looking at is There's No Crying in Baseball. Is the other one I wanted to get her. So I found this Etsy store that someone's like, oh, they have those snarky handkerchiefs here on this Etsy site. And I think it's called Bold Faced. I can double check that if anyone wants me to. But on the front page of their Etsy site, I saw this instead.
Dun, 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 dun.
For crying out loud!
I'm gonna keep count of her for crying out louds that night. Actually, I'm gonna make everybody take a shot with every for crying out loud that night.
So I found a handkerchief that says for crying out loud, and I guarantee you this was not made to be a Stargate reference. However, it is now a Stargate reference for my mother at the wedding.
So Jesse has now said he would like to watch First Man with you on Thursday at 9:15, and he doesn't care that we're recording. He wants me to tell you that.
Okay, that's fine. Nick is free.
We'll figure it out.
Okay. If nothing else, it'll be a Jesse Nixie date.
And there you go. I'm done.
Alrighty, so that was my main thing. Oh, there's a motorcycle going by, and Kaylee really wants to tell us that.
Why is it that dogs care so much about motorcycles?
Kaylee actually cared because, and I'm going to say this because no one else in the neighborhood will listen, the guy on the motorcycle is a giant jag asshole.
Oh, no.
I was going to say jag off, and I'm an asshole, and I just kind of combined them. He's a giant douchebag, and his dog is mean. So Kaylee knows that the motorcycle belongs to the owner of a mean dog.
Stormy just likes to chase them because they're loud, I guess.
Kaylee wants to hurt every single car like a cattle. Yeah. Like, we literally have to hold her, and she barks and tries to...
Must hurt giant cow.
Sometimes she's fine. Sometimes she's like, I must get the car. Alrighty. Are we ready to
I'm ready if
record
you're
this?
Ready.
Also, random thing. I have pretty yarn, guys.
I have nothing to share other than it's midterms.
Well, it's sitting next to me because I was kind of just like...
You guys want to see my flashcards?
I was just kind of like lulling
I
with
have
it.
75 key knowledge points I have to memorize because our test
Have fun
is
with that.
closed book. Even though it's online, and my stupid integrity will not allow me to have my notes with me.
Can I tell you that I understand that because my school was 16 driving hours away from my parents, and yet even if I had all the work done, would not let myself skip a lab class because I was afraid my mother would find out.
Yeah, I don't see, and mine was like, if the professor had not said closed notes, I'd be fine. I'd be fine. Completely fine. Everything would be done. I wouldn't even have to study for this thing. But he mentioned it.
Can I just say, if your notes are on top of your book,
they're closed.
Then there's no open there.
I love your thought process.
I mean, you can't have a closed book if your flashcards are just out in front of you. There's no open or closed. They just exist.
They're
also
Schrodinger's notes.
didn't say that you can't have someone else next to you that happens to have a book open.
Fair.
Just saying.
No.
Alrighty.
We'll be okay. Okay, let's get the show
Let's get the show on the road. What episode are we on?
144.
Alrighty. Welcome to episode 144 of There's No Place Like Terra, a Stargate First Watch Rewatch podcast. I am Nixie.
And I'm Grace, and today we're going over Season 7, Episode 12, Evolution Part 2, a.k.a. Indiana Jackson versus Evil Dead? Is that what we said?
Indiana Jackson versus Ash.
Right. Indiana.
Indiana Jackson and the Rubik's Cube of Death.
Oh, I like that one. I like that one. And Attack of the Clones.
Oh, yeah.
Send in the clones.
Send in the clones. Indiana Jackson and the Attack of the Clones.
Guys, we just did it.
We did it. So this first aired on January 9th, 2004. Grace, do you remember when the last episode aired on?
Not 2004?
I'll give you a hint. It was August of 2003.
Rosa!
This was a mid-season break. I remember this break, guys.
Dang!
This was forever.
That's not okay.
It was so long.
Well, so I was thinking,
this is Game of Thrones level mid-season read.
I was like, I don't remember us being in 2004, but it is January, so maybe it was just in December. But no! Goodness!
Just speaking as to mid-season breaks, I just want to emphasize that I got engaged, plan a wedding, and I'm getting married in between the final season of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
With like almost a year to spare.
That's true. With a little extra time.
With almost a year extra time.
That's fair.
Alrighty, so this I had to get that off my chest. Also, we're still waiting for the next book. Also, hashtag Game of Thrones waiting.
I don't know what I'm waiting for anymore. I think you know what I'm really good at is forgetting.
You know, that works.
Because then you're like, oh yeah, that thing. In fact, I'd forgotten about Game of Thrones. Like I'd moved on with my life, temporarily, of course. And then one of the guys at work was like, what's the countdown? I'm like, why did you do that?
Why? I do that with the Dresden Files series because I love it. I always get them when they come out, but at this point, there's becoming longer and longer because as you know, he's going on and doing other series at the same time. But this is sort of everyone's, at least my high-end favorite. Yeah, and he has, as he said, a number of books planned before the big trilogy grand finale. Yeah, so there's like 2 years, I think, between books at this point, and I purposely just forget about them until all of a sudden I get a pop-up reminder going, the new Dresden Files is coming out, and I was like pre-order.
No,
and then I finish it in a couple days.
I remember.
And the waiting starts over.
Do no waiting. So I recently listened to Ted Danson on a podcast on Armchair Expert. It's a Dax Shepard's podcast. It's great if you like that.
I love both of those things.
Okay. So it's great. It's great. But it's so Ted Danson was talking about how his whole life he just kind of ends up places. It's like, oh look, here I am now.
I love that philosophy.
I know that feeling.
I want to be that feeling.
I know that feeling where you're just like, how did I get here?
Yeah. How did this happen?
Like slight amounts of amnesia all the time.
I'm fine with that.
I would be happy with that too.
So the story for this, the second part, was by Damon Kindler and Peter DeLuise, directed by Peter DeLuise. And the guest star this week is, I just blanked.
It's Elliot from.
It is Elliot.
Just Shoot Me.
Yeah.
He's got a very
Enrique Cantaloni.
Yes.
Yeah. I was just blanked on his name for a second.
Joey Pants.
Yes.
Sorry.
He's got a ton of stuff.
Joey Pants. But he looks like Joey Pantoliano, who's Joey Pants.
Yes.
But he's not. Sorry, I'm done.
No, I was about to call him Elliot, and I was like, that's not his name. He played Veronica's father on Veronica Mars, which I know a lot of people are big on right now because it's coming back.
Well, it's like the Dax Shepard family is all about the beginning of this conversation.
He was Parker in Flashpoint and my favorite, Galaxy Quest.
Oh gosh, another movie I haven't seen all the way through.
Guys, we're gonna pretend like she didn't say that because Galaxy Quest is my favorite Star Trek film. Just like how right now, it's my favorite Star Trek series. The name of the ship
is the thing with Seth MacFarlane.
That one. Guys are yelling at me right now really badly. We're gonna move on. He was also the first traveler in Travelers. He's everywhere. He's awesome. And because I'm all for it, he is the spokesperson for the Tima Conter Memorial Trust, which is an organization that assists in first responders and service personnel dealing with PTSD, which is awesome. His brother, the Orville, yes, is my favorite Star Trek series. His brother's apparently retired detective sergeant with the Toronto Police. So it's kind of a thing that's near and dear to his heart. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So, previously on Stargate, Predators and Jungles. The Honduran jungle, like not Nicaragua, not yet, but kind of jungles.
Indiana Jackson and his good old sidekick, Lee.
Bill Lee!
Yeah, I was like, I don't remember his name.
Dr. Bill Lee! Okay, so in Hammond's office, they've gotten like a ransom order for Daniel and Lee. 72 hours to pay or they'll be killed. Awesome.
Yeah.
Intel indicated it's Honduran anti-government revolutionaries, and we have a situation that we don't usually have in Stargate, international politics on a delicate scale.
No kidding, yeah.
And at play...
Usually when we deal with international, it's far more than Earth. It's interstellar.
It's interstellar, and it's like sort of the level of these high-end governments, but this is really just the fact that the U.S. relationships with both Honduran and Nicaraguan governments in Stargate world are very tenuous and very delicate, and the president is not necessarily willing to just send a team in and extract two people, even if they're those two people at risk for, government issues. But Hammond's going to let Jack know either way as soon as he hears anything.
Yeah.
At said rebel camp, Daniel is led out to meet Raphael.
It's stupid, sexy, sweaty, dying Daniel.
Just get it. Just
my inner Homer comes out.
Yeah.
Stupid, sexy Flanders. Stupid, sexy Daniel.
Just let it roll the entire episode. And it's been apparently 2 days since they've had any food or water. And Raphael's wanting to know what the artifact is. Daniel's like, it's an ancient artifact.
Yeah.
It's archaeology shit. You can look me up on the internet. Do you have the internet? Look me up. I'm an archaeologist.
So here's how I posed your question to myself.
Yes.
Daniel today.
Yeah.
Daniel in this day.
2018.
2018 Daniel. Does he have Google Alerts set up for himself?
I don't think he would.
Full of himself?
No, I don't think he would.
Okay.
I don't think he would.
Do you think Jack does?
Jack still has a clamshell phone if he's able to.
Yeah, he's like, what's a Google Alert?
Yeah.
Well, I feel like Daniel would, and Daniel would be like, you love me? Or you know what? He maybe on Google Scholar at least, like his papers.
There is another character. You guys know who I'm talking about. Grace does not. Who? Damn, you're better. You're sure he definitely. I don't know what sentence just happened.
No, I like it.
But he is certain.
Yeah, damn Skippy. He's got a Google Alert set up.
There's a character.
And the reason I think of it is because recently one of my teachers, we asked him for an example of something.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, let me Google myself and show you all the scholarly articles that I've had published.
Oh,
and it felt, but mind you, I love this teacher. He's a wonderful, actually very modest dude. But the pride he had when he did that, I was like, that's a Daniel move.
It is.
Yeah.
He's not above going that, but I don't think he has a necessary Google alert.
Got it.
But Raphael is not buying any of this. He's like, let me ask you again. And he comes to the argument we've heard from Indiana Jones and many of this style film and story over and over and over again. What makes him any different than a thief? He goes into the country and he takes the artifacts out of the country.
Yeah. He's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
We know Daniel's motives and his intentions, but this guy does not.
He does not.
It's just another white dude taking his shit. Yikes.
No matter how big his arms are. So Raphael is getting annoyed at Daniel. And he basically shows him this really super friendly looking torture device with wires and a car battery and shampoo cables.
A car battery is you're gonna have a bad time.
Sparks. That's not even to the fun level.
No,
like that passes.
Even not car battery. If you see the jumper cables, you're gonna have a bad time.
It's not gonna be good.
Even if there's nothing attached to the other end of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's something attached, some people may find have a little fun.
Fair.
But not many.
I guess if it's not willing, you're gonna have a bad time.
Yes. Credit. So when we come back, we're in Hammond's office. Yeah. There's a CIA agent in Honduras, Agent Burke, who's fairly sure he knows where Daniel and Lee are, and coincidentally, Jack knows Burke.
So let me tell you, during the scene when we kind of feel this buildup of Jack knows this person, I had to go back and re-listen to Hammond say he, because for a minute I thought it was going to be a woman, and I was like, oh, this is going to be so interesting. And then I was like, oh, no, it's a boy.
Oh, but it's still going to be interesting.
It's still interesting, but it's a different type of interest.
And I like how he's like, we're stuck with him no matter what, right?
Yeah.
Hammond's like, yeah. He goes, yeah, then there's nothing you need to know about.
There's nothing to report. Thanks, bye.
Noting and the nope on his face is very, you're trying real hard to be deadpan there. Yeah. Burke requested Jack specifically help him out on this, and the president has given a green light. So, but before he leaves, he checks in with Sam.
Okay.
Poking at new toys.
Is this scene extra sexy?
It's extra shippy.
Like, did they make out the night before? Did they get drunk and get, like, not make out, but did they get drunk and, like, sit too close on the couch?
There is some serious ship in this scene.
You know that feel, like, before things get off the ground, you have the day where you're like, there's definitely sparks. Like, I remember. And you're
sitting on the couch and you're like, are we going to take each other's hands?
Yeah, just
because you're watching the thing, like, very proper, not doing anything with your hands.
And you're a little bit loose, you're comfortable. Jesse and I had a day like that where we hung out all day, the entire day. We watched the movie, went to go eat, just like ran around Target, went to Barnes & Noble, because that's what we do on dates.
It's the best date ever.
And then went back to his house and watched Bob's Burgers, but like sat in a far more comfortable way than we'd ever sat before. And then I went home.
Ours was watching Sherlock.
There you go.
Benedict Cumberbatch style.
Yeah. Thank you, Benedict Cumberbatch. What a great wingman. Mine, Bob Belcher.
Yeah, you know, about the same.
But I feel like they had that night recently where nothing actually happened, but the sparks were there.
Something. I like going to Barnes & Noble and leaving notes inside my favorite books.
That's a really good job. That's a good thing.
And just going, this is my favorite book.
You know why that's a really good idea? Because when you go to a bookstore and you don't know what you're looking for, you go to the ones that you already know you like. And then you kind of start there. So that's a great idea.
I just like going, I really, really love this book. If you read it, the end part's fun or something.
I'm gonna start putting like at the different types of bookstores. I'm gonna start leaving notes from my characters in other D&D books.
I always had this dream of starting a blog, and I like keep thinking of it 1,000 times, and I just don't know how you do it. But I always had a dream of starting a blog where I had a set up an email specifically for it, and I have a blog that matches it, and I would leave notes in my favorite books, and that basically says like, hey, when you're done, this is my favorite book. Leave a review here. I'm gonna post it on this blog, and it would just be like the travel, like, and then it's like, oh, and on the website would be a sheet to print out your own, and then you can put them in your own favorite books, and it just is a big thing that cycles around.
We have a Facebook page.
I know.
And an email address.
I know.
I mean, why not?
But like setting one specifically for this random like anonymous book review.
I love that.
And you just leave things in random books, and it's just.
And I like that because anytime I travel, I go to a bookstore because that's who we are.
To be fair, I'm traveling to Michigan in a few weeks, and I've already scoped out the knitting stores.
Nice.
That are closest to my destination.
Stargate.
Okay.
Jack and Sam. Things are getting a little spicy.
Little story. But Jack and Sam. So back at the SGC briefing room, it is mission briefing time. They are going after Anubis on Tartarus.
Let's do this.
Which is pretty much a fortress. And I love how Selmac just shows up in the middle of the conversation.
Like, hello.
I volunteer for tribute.
Yeah. Player 4 has entered the game.
He's gonna wear the Predator armor and just walk through the Stargate.
He's just gonna Trojan horse that shit.
He's completely gonna Trojan horse that.
He's a mini Trojan mini horse.
He's a Trojan.
He's Trojan Little Sebastian.
He's like, Sebastian. Jacob is like, yeah, no, we'll be fine. No one has any better ideas. This will be fine. This will all work out great. And they'll use the invisible to sensor pills that they've used before to walk around undetected after Selmak turns the sensor ray off and lets everyone in, and they have a go for this crazy ass plan.
Yikes.
So Tartarus is the prison that holds the Titans in Greek mythology.
Yes,
it is basically a pit of torment and suffering.
It's no good times.
Where souls are judged after death. It's also kind of a place and a god at the same time.
Yeah.
It's sort of a god or a deity on the order of Chaos and Gaia. And my favorite Nyx with a Y. And as a place in the Iliad, it said that it's as far beneath Hades as heaven is above earth. And when you go there, shit is bad.
Yeah.
It's like the top-notch level of torment.
It's the seventh circle?
It
Dante's
is.
Seventh Circle?
Yeah. It's bad. And I'm also pretty sure on shows like Hercules and Xena, Tartarus was used as a curse word, if my memory serves me right.
That makes sense, because you would say hell.
Uh-huh. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So
sounds like tartar sauce.
Tartar sauce is good. Good homemade tartar sauce. Bad tartar sauce is really bad.
It's the seventh circle.
It is. That's what they serve you. It's the only food there. So Jack arrives at the very same cantina that Daniel and Lee were at.
Well, there's only one.
There's only one.
Forest, apparently. Yeah.
And in proper fashion, he has himself a tequila. Looks like a good aged Espada tequila.
That sounds good.
My favorite. Yeah. And a beer, because duh.
Why not? You need a chaser for your tequila.
Yeah.
Like, because it works the other way around.
And, you'd rather drink beer than the water, I'm sure.
Oh, it's probably safer.
Yeah, exactly. So Burke sits down across from him, and Jack is not happy to see him.
Not at all.
Burke was hoping he could just imagine Jack's face when he first heard his name. Jack is all business, though, which we can respect.
Mm-hmm.
Burke does know the crib notes of last episode. He saw the previous thing on. And it's a move that the specific group of rebels has done before. Kidnap an American, get the ransom, which insurance usually pays for, and they get the financing for their war with the government.
Ta-da! Yeah. It's all about money.
All about money. The two governments basically kind of sort of hate each other. And anyone who is in the, quote, I hate Honduras fan club, as it's called, can hide inside the Nicaraguan borders, buy guns, do their thing. And he almost gets crazy at this whole explanation of history. And like Cuba comes in there and...
It's this really great... It's a real simply put way to break down the complexity of what has happened.
Yeah.
In our political past.
Yeah. It's and he's been
of
here
what, like the last 80 years now?
Something.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And and Burke's been here a while. And do you want to know why he's here at this shitty post in a stinkhole part of the world? And Jack's like, here we go. This is what I was waiting for.
Dun, 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 dun. The guilt trip is here.
Burke blames Jack. Because apparently they were him and this guy named Woods, the three of them were besties. We come to find out later, even their families were close. They had barbecues. They knew each other's wives.
They were like the ducks.
And that was his SG-1.
Yeah, that was his guys.
And there was a friendly fire incident. One of their team, Woods, got killed, and Jack did not vouch for Burke after. And Jack is like, I didn't see what happened.
Right.
I wasn't going to lie and said I did. But it sounds like Jack also didn't vouch for
He didn't say, I didn't see what happened, but this is my friend, and I know that he's a good guy. He just didn't see what happened.
He didn't go out of his way to cover for Burke. So it also sounds like after all that, Burke's wife left him, and he got stationed here.
Yeah, he got fucked a little bit. His life got a little bit ruined.
Yeah. And since this is Burke's territory, Burke's calling the shots, and Jack's like, yeah, no, you're a guide.
Peace, yeah.
And with that, Burke leaves. And the waiter comes back. Jack needs a guide, which is great because this is just his day job. And we learn that Jack also knows Spanish.
So, yeah, and we learned that in Honduras, going to Hollywood to be an actor is the equivalent of being a tour guide, where everybody's a waiter as their day job, but they all really want to be guides.
Well, it's also just where that's, as we see, he makes $4,000 later on.
Yeah.
Like, the money is being a guide for Westerners.
Yeah, it's fair. Yeah. That's absolutely true. But yeah, Jack.
I guess Northerners.
I love it because Jack speaks enough Spanish to get the job done, and his accent is not Daniel's, but it's good enough.
Listen, he knows more Spanish than I knew French when I went to Paris. You know?
Yeah.
I knew how to order a coffee, say please and thank you, and ask how much it was.
I have this great relationship with French and Italian where I know what people are telling me, and I cannot find the words in any other language but Spanish or English to get them back.
I just did a lot of pointing, saying please and thank you.
Yeah.
It worked.
Yeah.
It worked. I was there for 2 days, so I did a crash course and learned as much as I possibly could.
Nice.
So back in the rebel camp, they will drag Lee back into the shack. He didn't think he was going to die like this. He's really sorry. He tells Daniel he just couldn't take it. He ended up telling him everything. And I don't blame him.
Here's the thing. When someone says, I said everything, you got to be specific.
Yes.
Because what does everything mean?
And I think that he later elaborated with Daniel.
Yeah.
This is just him going back going, I told him whatever he fucking wanted to hear.
It's just one of those things in a movie where it's like when someone says, I told them everything. It's like, well, what do you mean by everything?
Yeah.
You tell them everything about this artifact?
Yeah.
You tell them there's a Stargate in Colorado underground? What is everything mean? But yeah, I like Daniel's not dead yet.
Yeah, exactly. But I just, and I don't blame Bill in the slightest for breaking because I fucking would. Like, not everyone is made of
steel.
Daniel.
Adamantium.
Yeah.
X-Men, not steel. Yeah.
And back with Raphael, he pokes at the artifact and activates it.
Ta-da-da. Yeah.
That can't be good.
Nope.
So back in the gate room, Sila gets Jacob hooked up into the Predator armor, and I love Jacob's like, it reminds me of old football days. And Siler is like, they had helmets back in those days.
Siler's got this great little quippy line of all the things happening. Siler just gets this one little you're old. Yeah.
My standard is when someone's like, oh yeah, I saw that back in TV in the day, and I was like, was it in color? It's like the 80s. Like I just snark it.
I like to just tell people about back in the 1900s. Because it's just fun to say that.
I always say, and I forget which comedian did it. And it was like, it might have been, I just blanked his name. Never mind. It was like when you go back in the day, it was a Tuesday. Anyway, fun fact, helmets weren't mandated in college football until 1939, and they weren't mandated in the NFL until 1943.
Wow.
Yeah. So Hammond was.
And even then, were they like helmets, or were they like the leather ones?
They were like the leather ones.
Got it.
They weren't modern helmets at all.
Done.
Hammond wishes him good luck. The armor is surprisingly light, and he heads off. And it's rare that we get someone who gets away with calling Hammond George.
Yeah, there's got to be some sense of claustrophobia in that thing. I have to imagine.
There might be for a normal person.
Yeah.
Jacob is not a normal person.
I'd like to talk to the people that dress as characters at Disney.
Oh, yeah.
Because they would understand whatever that feeling is. But I think I would lose it.
To me, it feels like the same as, I feel like I would get the same scuba diving.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's the very similar mentality of not everyone's going to get claustrophobic in that.
That's fair. Yeah. I think it's just because it's me, and I get. I had a hard time snorkeling. I was like, I can't do this.
Snorkeling, I can do, and I can enjoy it. Scuba diving is the one I'm not. Yeah. I don't know if I
get this weird sense of claustrophobia when anything has to do with breathing. But
it makes sense.
Reasons, trauma, breathing trauma is not. Guys, breathing trauma sucks.
Breathing is important.
Yeah. Anytime you've gone through a thing where you can't breathe and are stopping breathing, it sucks.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
I just remember the one time I had the wind knocked out of me.
Oh. I had a really fun situation where one of my fun chronic diseases was causing my throat to swell.
Well, that's nice.
But the swelling that happens because of this disease cannot be treated with like epinephrine or steroids.
Yeah.
So you just at the time didn't know.
Yeah.
Didn't know what they were gonna do.
It's just gonna swell up.
And it's great because you're awake.
Yeah.
You're totally awake and you're aware. And they're
Sounds
like, hey,
fantastic.
don't have a panic attack because then you'll really not breathe. Which does not help in not having a panic attack.
Don't tell someone who has anxiety to not have a panic attack.
Real fun times. Real fun times. So there was a lot of sedatives involved.
I'm sure.
And a lot of conversations about, like, if this keeps going, we're going to tube you. And I'm like, okay.
Okay.
At this point, you've given me sedatives. So
do it.
How about just knock me out?
Do it.
How about just knock me out right now? And then do whatever you got to do.
I fell off a swing. Had the wind knocked out of me.
Oh.
So I landed just flat on my back.
Oh,
yeah, and I was like, I can't. I'm dead.
Good times not breathing. Okay, we're back.
So, cut to Tartarus, which looks surprisingly like Vader's complex on Mustafar. It looks a lot like Mustafar. Yeah. And so far, the plan works perfectly. Jacob's
able to... I know
you're
saying Mustafar, and I know you're talking Star Wars, but all I hear is Mufasa.
Mufasa! That's my favorite way they say it in the entire movie. Mufasa!
Oh, it gives me chills.
So, but anyway, Jacob's able to walk through the Iris force field without any issues. And he's walking around. A Gould summons him into his lab because he's like, you look damaged.
Yeah.
Later, we learn that this is Thoth.
Oh,
And we, this is like, they have little Predator comfy chairs.
Little like the ones that you find at the mall, little massage chairs.
Yeah, or like the hardcore gaming chairs.
Yeah.
I can't remember if we've just discussed Thoth before.
It sounds familiar.
It does, mainly because Thoth is really fun to say.
Thoth. My lisp is gonna.
Thoth.
I'm already feeling it.
So I'll do it again if I did it before, or if not, I'll do it for the first time.
Sure.
He's a Greek god who he's the one who you normally see his head as an ibis or a baboon, like the really long nose.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Usually has an ankh on the other hand.
Okay.
And he was sort of the Hermes of the Egyptian pantheon. In early days, he was the moon god. He has a lot to do with the moon. And in the end, he was kind of being the god of everything, including settling godly disputes, the arts of magic, writing, science, judgment of the dead. It's like the catch-all.
Yeah. I was gonna say the word god of jack of all trades, master of none.
And the Greeks later credit him as basically inventing everything involving science and math.
You know what? It's like you got to the end of the creating of the gods, and you're like, "Fuck, I'm tired."
Just everything else.
Everything else was this dude.
Yeah,
it was this one guy.
He's credited with inventing writing and hieroglyphs, and also as a mediator between the evil and good, making sure that neither one has victory over the other.
Yeah.
And like you can probably tip the scale a little more towards good. That's probably
so. He's
fine.
Essentially, if you could wrap it up in like the god of keeping everything in harmony.
Yeah,
in balance.
He's the god of the Libra.
There you go.
Yeah.
Ta-da.
So also apparently, this was a brief story that I found was apparently the calendar used to only have 360 days, but the goddess.
I just threw my pen at Kaylee accidentally.
But the goddess Nut was sterile and couldn't have any children, so he gambled with the moon for 1/72 of its light, and it's 1. So that's 5 more days, and those 5 days are when Nut could have kids, and so she had like 4 or 5 kids.
Whoa, that is a really freaking complicated story to explain those 5 days.
I know.
I love it.
It's my big. Yeah, it's good.
Someone was real drunk.
Real drunk.
So what happened was
basically
it was like
drunk history, and then they took it for fact.
Yeah, yeah. And they're like, all right, that works. Cool.
Drunk Egyptian history.
Yeah. I do have to say that our D&D feat of Gould arrogance comes into play in the scene again.
Yeah.
Because that is the only thing that keeps Jacob alive. Is like he's like, it's almost like the feat isn't Gould arrogance, but it's like giving them some sort of Gould stupidity.
But at the same time, there's literally nothing that would lead Thoth to believe that is not one of his warriors.
Right.
There is nothing he could conceive. He could not conceive of that.
But if he's about to go and check into what's going on inside, he's going to see that it's not a typical symbiote body in there.
But is even going to take the lid off of it. He's just going to scan him. True.
But we don't know. See, in my brain, the scanner was like an MRI.
Mm.
and was going to see inside and be like,
we just didn't get there. He got distracted first.
Right. Yeah. By gold arrogance.
Gold arrogance.
Nothing else is more important than what I'm telling you. Do things.
Also, a lot of...
He had a drink in his hand.
Probably. The other reason people may know the name Thoth is from the tarot deck by Aleister Crowley.
Oh, I know that name.
And I actually have a deck of the Thoth tarot. They're beautiful. Like I have them for the artwork. The artwork is absolutely stunning. I have a Da Vinci one too with all these Da Vinci, and I always want to like lay them out as a big poster.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Just because the artwork on these tarot cards is beautiful. I never learned how to read them or anything. They just were pretty.
I know someone who may be able to help you with that.
Okay, we'll have to find them. They're somewhere. So we see Sam and Teal'c and Braytac hiding out their scout ship behind the moon. That's no moon, but it is a moon. They're sort of stuck there until Jacob's able to turn the sensor array off, and they're just not really sure when that's gonna happen.
Yeah, we're just gonna hang out here doing nothing.
And back in Thoth's lab, Anubis just strolls in to chat about the weather and see if Thoth wants a coffee.
They're just gonna sit behind the moon and play the alphabet game.
Yeah, they are. and Anubis is like, yeah, fuck this soldier. Can you go check a remote probe that's malfunctioning? Because apparently you're the only person who can do that.
Yeah, do this thing.
And they leave Jacob alone in the lab.
Perfect idea.
Behind the moon, Sam is going on about her dad is really stubborn and how many things could go wrong.
Yeah.
And that's when Jacob pulls through and Braytac points out that the sensor array is down. Stubbornness for the win.
I love it because she immediately is like, okay, everything's fine now. I'm not mad anymore. Yeah. Because she is her father's daughter.
Yes.
She's going to be mad until it works. And it's like, yes, let's do more.
Yes. And they start flying in. Sam radios down there on their way. Jacob tells them to come in through the exhaust port. He's found a way in for them.
Dun, dun, dun.
Back in the jungle. Book. Sam and Pedro pass the same waterfall.
Jack.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jack and Pedro.
That's okay.
Pass the same waterfall that the boys did. Jack is out of his civvies and back in his action cap. And they make it to the point where the temple was. And Pedro's like, look, see, I told you there's something here.
So now we're done.
Except for all these U.S. military boot prints and this, like, wishing well, Burke says.
Yeah, random hole in the ground.
Burke got there first.
Yeah.
He's no longer in his civvies. He also has a ton of things that explode with him.
You can see here how he and Jack were the best of friends.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're the humor, the ability to find humor.
They're basically the same person
in this situation, but also I'm super fucking smart and I'm doing all the things.
And I would argue, and we can talk about it when we get to that scene, that Jack may have done the same thing that Burke would have done in that situation.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with that.
How it was a short fate that would have reversed their entire situation.
Yeah.
So anyway, and if I caught this right, Burke gives like Pedro $4,000 to head back to the cantina.
He gives him a giant. Yeah, I think that's what he says. He said, well, he does say $4,000, but I don't know if he meant Honduran money or American money.
I don't know which. It doesn't. So, it wasn't American money.
Right. Yeah.
And I don't know if Pedro would be able to do the conversion rate in his head that fast.
True. or maybe, yeah.
Maybe. This is as far as the GPS tracking goes, and this is where it ends. So I wonder if they did have GPS trackers and somehow, like, it got turned off, or if they had a GPS radio and it's somewhere left here. I don't know what they were tracking.
I wonder, it must have been whatever equipment Daniel had with them. Here's my thing, because they were in the water. They did get flooded out. Yeah. And there's no chip in them yet.
There's no, can we seriously put a chip in these guys?
Yeah.
Maybe this is what teaches them to put a chip in people.
There you go. Done.
And Burke's like, what, you didn't think these guys would make it easy for you, right? Like, this is where the road ends. And Burke, we learned it in emotional inventory. He still has issues with Jack.
Which is great.
I love that term, emotional inventory.
Emotional inventory,
he can put their differences aside because Jack's going to need him down here. And he's not going to let Jack down. He's really sincere. Like, he almost can't look at Jack.
Yeah. Well, because no matter what's happened, and if he's the kind of guy who's doing an emotional inventory, he's probably let go of whatever resentments he has for Jack. Like, he may be mad at him, but at this point, he doesn't hold his life to Jack.
Exactly.
Like, he's like, my life is mine.
And I'm going to save your ass if I can, because you're in my lair now. And they send out to leave, and Burke brings in some of the Jack snark. Watch your step, ladies. We're not in Minnesota.
I do love that part.
So back at the camp, Daniel is tied to a chair, and he threatens, like, Raphael threatens Daniels with the life of Lee, because that's the one thing that might bend Daniel.
Yeah, because Daniel's, I think our bad guy, we're learning that he's actually very smart.
He is very intelligent.
Because one, he's interested in the device.
Yeah.
It's not just how much money can I get from it, it's what can I do with it.
Yes.
And two, he understands that Daniel's going to give up his own life before he gives up any answers.
Yeah.
But probably not Burke's. Lee's. Yes. Correct.
He wants to know how this works, and Daniel's like, you grabbed us literally as we got out of the temple. I have no fucking idea how it works. We haven't been able to look at it yet. And basically the question is if this device is many thousands of years old, and a Mayan god brought it here, why?
Right.
Daniel has no clue. It could be to hide it. It could be to use it. And if he did use it, like, don't know what happened. All Daniel has is this cryptic warning that it was dangerous.
Yeah.
Like,
maybe it's a mirror ball and you start a dance party and you can't stop dancing
maybe. But the moral of the story, like, Daniel has nothing to tell him because, like, I haven't been able to study the damn thing.
Genuinely nothing.
I have literally nothing to tell you. Raphael doesn't think it's harmful, though. Because he has never felt so strong as he does now, and reveals to Daniel that he turned the device on, and Daniel's like, fuck, turn it off.
I love how they're like, I turned it on and I can turn it off whenever I want to. Like, does this thing just have like a little red, green button?
Yep.
Like a little like
it's on the back.
Yeah. You just turn it around on the bottom and it's like, oh, it's orange. So yeah, we're good. Yeah.
It's like the Wi-Fi router. It's just like beeping. It's beeping green when it's good.
Well, it's like I feel like it shouldn't be so easy to know how to turn it on and off.
Shouldn't be. And he even he starts pleading almost basically to turn this thing off. He's like, it's unstable. It's beyond our comprehension.
You're gonna die.
And even one of his men, who later turns into Zombie Man, is like, yeah, you should probably. That sounds cursed, dude.
Yeah,
can
that
we
sounds like
play it
some
safe?
Yeah, it sounds like some shit that my mom told me about when I was little.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, I actually know this story. My mom used to use it to scare me to come inside. Please turn it off. I'm gonna die.
Can we not?
Yeah.
And in response, Raphael shoots him.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I mean, he's super stable at this point, guys.
Yeah.
Don't worry, this device isn't a concern at all.
Normal things. Yeah.
Back on Tartarus, Jacob is out of the armor. He's just in the black. He's going to get out of that soon. But let's Teal'c and Sam in. Sorry about the delay. You weren't worried about me, were you? Back to Jack and Burke, the Jack and Burke Roadshow. Burke gives them some local history and flavor about the rebels when they hear something.
Right.
It's Raj.
Yeah.
He's still alive.
Thank goodness. I was really sad about that.
He's still alive.
Raj is kind of fun and likable. And
what I like is that they brought him back just to ensure that he's alive.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't necessarily, he points out where they are.
Hello, there's no more plot for you.
But I'll point out in a second. I don't know where he was pointing to, but Burke calls in a rescue.
How does he know? He was shot.
Yeah.
And then laying face down on the ground. Anyway.
But Burke calls in a rescue. He's been laying here for days. What's another hour? Jack's like, we're looking for two scientists, Dr. Jackson and the other guy.
The handsome one with the piercing blue eyes, and then the big muscles, and they're like, Raj, are you okay? I mean, yeah, I know who you're talking about.
And there's a second one there too.
Yeah.
They took him north across the border, and I'm like, that doesn't compute.
Right, because the border would be south.
Yeah, because I literally had to check, and I was like, I'm pretty sure Honduras is north of Nicaragua, so if they're heading into Nicaragua, wouldn't that be south? Are they currently in Nicaragua and went back over the border?
Map.
I did look at it. Honduras is north.
But is there any parts of it that circle around?
Oh, like how you go south from Detroit to get into Canada?
Right.
I don't know.
I'm gonna look
because I'm confused. But the point is that that would be a really random thing to put in there.
Technically you could. It's wobbly enough. We're looking at a map.
Okay.
It's wobbly enough. Wobbly is the
technical term.
The technical term for a border that's not straight across.
But I think it's more of that's really niche if you're playing off that.
Yeah.
I think they just put the wrong direction in.
Screwed up. Guys, look at a map.
I mean, to be fair, it could just be Raj has been sitting in the jungle for a number of days and he's delusional.
Maybe. Yeah.
Because I will point out, he looks way better than you should look at for being lying shot in the jungle without food and water for a number of days.
It's like, did you put yourself in stasis? When there's like a button that someone hit and then it's brought you back.
Like, you look like you've been sitting there for 5 minutes.
You should have been bleeding out.
Like a little bit of blood, maybe some dirt, like not look new.
Just hanging out.
He looks better than anyone should be for even hiking in the jungle for half a day.
Yeah, fair. Very fair. He's not even breaking a sweat.
He looks like he's still at the cantina.
That's fair. Yeah.
Anyways, Burke doesn't want to just leave this guy who's shot in the jungle. And I love Ron. She's like, don't worry. Look, help's going to be here soon. This is not the first time I've been shot.
Yeah, I get shot all the time. It's just a thing I do.
Go save them. They owe me a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
Please find them.
I like how that's finally what convinces them that he's not being altruistic. This kid. Okay, money. Cool. Now I understand.
But they do leave him with some good American gum.
Yeah. But it's such a weird thing to like. How is gum helpful in that moment to you?
Because it's Burke and that's his comfort thing. Fair. We see it giving to Jack later. Yeah, I think that's just his comfort thing.
I just would imagine that you would leave like a water canteen.
They did leave a canteen. They did. So Thoth comes back. Yeah. And Jacob's gone. Thoth goes to report this to Anubis, and apparently they call them the Cull Warriors. I like Predator more. Ta-da! Yeah. And they chalk it up to the flaws in their method of governing the symbiote's mind, because it still does not conceive to them that someone else could be wearing the armor. Yikes! As Jack and Burke continue through the jungle, Burke is trying to bring back history and explain that, look, he moved, I killed him, I thought he was a hostile. I'm sure they're talking about the friendly fire incident. Right. They were both improvising at the time. They were both out of position at the same time. And continues the story. So back on Tartarus, Jacob is out of all the Predator gear, and they're hiding in the corridors for more soldiers. They're trying to guess how many there are. But what they do find in the meantime is a large laboratory with a really nice water feature.
I do love that he said at some point a handful.
Yeah, this handful.
Oh, bless your
heart. They don't know. They only have so many chairs in there.
It is just really like the reality of what must sink in the later scene where it's like, oh, fuck. Yeah. It's a few handfuls.
Especially because they know how deadly these things are. So they're like, they're that powerful. There can only be a couple of them. Guys,
they find another Slurm Queen.
Spoiler, there's more than a couple. Yeah, they find Slurm Queen in a tank.
Another Mama Slurm.
So back at the rebel camp, Daniel doesn't even want to wait for nightfall at this point to escape, and he's using a very MacGyver method to break the loose spores, which is very effective. Yeah. Because tension is great. I've done that before, get things loose, not necessarily with my boot, but the tension. Mm-hmm. And so if they stay, they're going to die. Like, that's it. Right. Daniel knows firsthand what the sarcophagus does to your sanity, and this thing is more powerful than the sarcophagus. Like, they're fucked if they stay here. And then we see the guy Raphael shoot come back to life. Yeah. So that's fun. Yeah. He looks very similar to, we just saw the new Mummy.
Oh, right.
And
the Tom Cruise one?
Yeah. With, what was it? Is his name Jake Johnson? Nick from New Guy.
I think it is Jake Johnson.
Because I got really confused because Tom Cruise's character is Nick, and I still only know Nick from New Guy as Nick. So it got very confusing for a bit, but he kind of does the same thing of when he comes back to life. It's that same sort of look.
Got it. Yeah. It's that great like white contact thing that you can do. I've always wanted to do this, but I'm scared to tell how much they hurt.
Put it this way, guys, on the new Mummy, we left halfway through the end battle and we still haven't seen the rest of it.
Sad times.
I will say this, Russell Crowe is good in it, though.
Russell Crowe's in that movie?
Yes, but I don't necessarily want to say who his character is.
Don't tell me.
No, because it was a nice little surprise because when he's in there, and I will say that Russell Crowe to me was the highlight of the film.
Is that on VOD?
It is on something on Hulu. I don't know if it's on HBO because we have HBO on Hulu, but
got it. I think we have HBO somewhere.
Anyways, I would watch The Mummy for the Russell Crowe part. Anyways, back to
Back in Honduras.
Actually, we're going.
Or are we on Tartarus?
No, we're on Tartarus now.
Got it.
So in the lab with the Slurm Queen, it doesn't make any sense to Sam. Like the symbiotes, when they spawn, they have the genetic memory of the queen. They'd be really shitty soldiers because of ghoul arrogance.
Yeah.
But Jacob points out that her brainwave pattern is almost zero. She has no intention of passing her memories on to the symbiotes. They're going to be blank slates. Anubis can imprint anything he wants on them. Perfect, deadly, fearless, loyal soldiers.
This is awful. It's for so many reasons.
Yeah. And it's creepily similar to what Egeria did on Pangar. Blocked the memory from being passed on. And Nubis must have learned it. Remember when he scanned Jonas's mind?
I love the way they do this reveal because Teal'c goes Jonas in a way that people are like, "What the fuck? Like, what did Jonas do?" And he's like, "No, assholes."
Yeah,
when he took Jonas's mind, basically.
Exactly. And it was like basically the last puzzle piece he needed to make these super soldiers. Mm-hmm. So they can't let her spawn. So they stick a block of C4 on her tank, and they'll detonate it later.
Yeah.
Back in the Jungle Cruise. They're still bickering. Jack doesn't trust Burke. And what's worse than Jack not trusting Burke is Burke thinking that Jack thinks that he's incompetent.
Right.
Like, that's more of an offense.
It's like, look, I don't care if you hate me, but you need to understand why and that I am actually good at what I'm doing.
And we get it for crying out loud.
Yes.
And we learn the truth. Woods ghosted him. He turned. He was sending a transmission of their position. And Burke was onto him. So Woods turned his weapon on Burke, and Burke reacted by shooting him.
Yeah, because what else would you do in that moment?
And the reason Burke never said anything was to save Woods' family.
Yeah, basically to save, like, their integrity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their families were all close. If it came out that Woods was a traitor, then his wife and their family would never see his pension.
Right.
Would be stuck, would be probably ostracized. In certain circles. He was a month away from retirement. Apparently, instead of retiring, Woods was planning on just being a mercenary.
Yeah, let's play this out. That would absolutely have ruined this woman.
Yeah.
Emotionally, financially, the level of respect, maybe the friends, everything would be gone. Yeah. Yeah.
And she would thus be questioning. She's like, so my husband was a traitor.
Right.
And so he basically took the bullet. He lost his career, his reputation,
and
his wife, everything to save Woods' family from the truth.
Fuck.
So the question I have is had that been reversed, had it been Jack who caught on to Woods and that same situation and that same, he killed Woods.
Yeah.
Part of me wants to say that Jack would have done the exact same thing.
Jack absolutely would have done the same thing.
He would have bit the bullet and he would have lost his career and his reputation.
Yep.
In order to save Woods' family.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then possibly you would have had Burke as
the leader of SG1.
The leader of SG1. I'm sure not all the cards would have played out exactly identical, but
he would have been in a place of similar prestige.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy. And I like that Jack doesn't say anything. Jack just kind of has to walk away in order to process what happened.
Well, and because he knows Burke enough to believe him.
He does.
Like Burke, this just goes to show you that he trusts Burke enough to go, this guy wouldn't make this shit up.
No.
He just wouldn't.
No. And it's also, you can tell just by how Burke was bringing it up early in the episode, he's been wanting to tell Jack this, but he doesn't know how to at this point.
Yep.
Because this is the line that's been spread around for so long.
He sounds like he's had a lot of fucking therapy since the incident.
Yeah, exactly.
Mr. I took an emotional inventory. Holy fuck, yeah.
Yeah. So Daniel removes the wood panel at the little shack, and there's machine gun fire outside. Dead guy is firing because he's not dead yet. He's just firing randomly.
She's crazy. Yeah, dead guy.
Daniel and Lee are able to sneak out of the shack, and they see what's going on, which is not good.
Yeah,
but it's a distraction.
It's a great time to run.
Book it.
Yeah.
And the rest of the rebels open fire, take him down again, and then they notice Daniel and Lee are missing, and they run after him.
Mm-hmm.
On Tartarus, they're still sneaking around looking for a computer for any intel. Even just the movement of the fleet, they're like, we just look at anything at this point.
Can we just know things?
Yeah.
We just want to know things.
And Jacob thinks he knows where Anubis' quarters are, so they head there. And Burke, I was thinking there's a little bed, a little round bed, some lounge lights.
The wet bar somewhere in the corner. Yeah.
Burke gives Jack some gum, like as a peace offering, I guess. Jack takes it, so they're friends now again.
Yeah.
That's bro code.
Friendship gum.
It's bro code.
Yeah.
And they hear gunfire in the distance. Daniel and Lee are running. They have to keep moving. Lee's having a hard time keeping up.
Yeah, poor Lee.
I know. All the gunfire are after them. Jack and Burke hear what's going on. They are running the same way. At some point, they part. Bill falls. He's just cannot keep going.
This is a beautiful Daniel moment.
It is. And because here's the thing, is for Lee to not be able to keep running at this part, you know he has to be at the end because he knows what's back there. Like, he knows what's happening.
Well, the thing is, imagine this. One, you're not a guy whose job requires any type of physical ability of this part.
You've just been tortured.
You've just been tortured. You haven't eaten or had any water for like 2 or 3 days now. And any well of adrenaline that was left
is gone.
Is done.
So that's what I'm saying. It's like, you know, he has to actually be able to not run if he has to stop you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Daniel hides him behind a tree and keeps running to distract and draw the people away from Bill.
Cry. Yeah.
And in that process, Daniel is shot in the leg.
Yeah.
He goes down by a tree, and Raphael is behind him, just crazy shooting warning shots all around him.
Just like fucking nut job.
Just insane. On Tartarus, the trio finds bad news.
Remember that handful of guys we thought we had?
They're in his throne room, and they hear a lot of boots marching. And from this observation point, they see thousands of predators.
Oh, good. Clone armies.
Bowing. Yeah, it's a whole clone army bowing before him. Fuck.
Oof.
Just fuckity fuck.
Yeah, yeah.
So back with Daniel, Raphael calls like for a machete because he's going to skin Daniel alive at this point.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Daniel sort of cowers, but it cowers in order to pick up a rock because at this point it's a last minute anything.
He's like, I'm
not.
No, he's not a fight. Yeah.
I will fight to the end.
Yeah.
And as
I die free. I'm sorry.
I die a free elf.
Oh.
And as he's leaning down, you hear just a shit ton of gunfire.
Yeah.
And when he looks up, all the rebels are dead, and Jack is coming up from the jungle, and Daniel is beyond stunned to see Jack.
It's crazy man face. Like, imagine you're like, this is how I die.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, your best friend shows up and just your knight in shining armor style.
Beyond the 11th hour, like 11:59 and 59 seconds.
Like Foo Fighters, there goes my hero. Starts to play. Or like, and I
will always love you.
I'm just waiting for Daniel to fall into Jack's arms.
I mean, he grabs onto him for dear life.
Yeah.
I don't blame him. Do you have a power bar?
Oh my goodness.
I mean, also, what does it take for Daniel to be stunned speechless?
He's always got something to say.
Exactly.
You know what it is he's finally able to be done with survival mode. And
the look on his face when he tosses the rock back down on the ground.
Like, how the fuck was I going to do that? What was I going to do with this? You know what it is? It's like that rock told him, you were going to die.
Yeah.
And he's like, I know. Thanks, rock.
Fuck you.
But yeah, it's like in the moment he sees Jack, he no longer has to be the Jack of the situation.
Exactly.
He doesn't have to be the tough guy.
He's like,
he doesn't have to be the guy who deals with the gunfire.
Yeah.
I mean, he always has to, but doesn't have to be the tactical approach guy.
He's not the only chance for their survival.
Right.
You know, which when it's him and Lee, he has to put all of that stuff aside because he has to be that when it's around.
And he has to be the tough dude. It's like, look, my talky communications guy is not going to work very effectively here. Yeah. I've got to channel my inner badass. I've got to find my inner Jack, my inner Teal'c. You know what I mean?
And he is going, my leg hurts.
Yeah. Yeah.
My leg hurts. I got shot.
Yeah. I know. Help me. I have a boo-boo.
So Thoth surprises the trio. Teal'c zats him. He doesn't do anything. So Sam just kind of takes care of the situation.
Sure, yeah.
And then the base alarm goes off. Time to go. They call Braytac for a ride. Sam blows all the C4, which we see explode, and they run. A predator follows them.
Of course.
Jack wraps the bandage around Daniel's shot leg.
Aww.
He can walk on it with a little stick that he has later.
Do you think Sam's going to have to fight Daniel for Jack now?
No.
Like, they're going to be making this at each other, and he's going to be like, hi, Jack, remember when you saved me? I love you.
Yeah,
I mean, not actually, but like the flirtation, because Daniel kind of flirts with everyone.
Like the bromance.
Yeah, he's going to want a little more Jack attention every now and then. Like, hey, bud, sit next to me while we eat. Oh, you're already sitting next to Sam? All right, fine.
I'll sit next to Teal'c.
Yeah.
But then the dead guy isn't dead yet. It was only a flesh wound.
Of course.
And he starts shooting at them. And Daniel explains the Teal'c device reanimates dead tissue, and Jack doesn't give a shit right now.
No time for talkie-talkie. I know. I'm very happy that you're back to being Daniel, but no time for talkie-talkie. We're still in shooty-shooty mode.
Yeah, shooty-shooty right now. But shooty-shooty is not working because bullets don't take him down. And thankfully, Burke has something more, and he launches basically a grenade at it.
He just disintegrates it.
And basically disintegrates it.
Yoza.
It's like, and you guys, what's with the guy from Evil Dead? It's classified.
I love the timing of that though, because Burke blows a big bubble. Which, by the way, he blows a big pink bubble, but the gum they gave Raj was like white Trident.
Well, I think he just has different kinds.
That's fair.
Yeah,
I believe it. He's probably got some fruit
because
stripe,
I think
some bubble tape.
It looked like to me he gave Jack some. What is it? Is it what's the hard coated? Is it Trident? That's like the hard square coated.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's what he gave. Like maybe he's got like the gum he'll share and the gum that's his.
Oh yeah.
Like I know a couple of friends who smoke cigarettes who carry their pack.
Yeah.
And then the shitty like, hey man, you got a smoke pack.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's why he chews so much gum. Maybe he's a former smoker.
Maybe.
Anyway.
But I do also like he's like, you guys are just some crazy crap.
Yeah.
And it's like really ecstatic look.
Yeah, it's like I want to know more of it.
This is the most excitement I've had in years.
Yeah.
The look on Daniel's face though when he says that too.
Yeah, it's like no, thank you.
You can't even begin to understand.
Yeah.
So right as the trio gets through the exhaust port, there's an arm that sticks through the door that they don't see.
Sure.
And they run onto their ship with warriors running behind them, pounding on the door as it closes. But one guy gets aboard. Sam shoots repeatedly at him. It does nothing, and it backhands her across the entire ship.
Yeah.
It also takes out Teal'c. Jacob then runs past it and lures it into the cargo bay. As he does, Braytek stands up and rings the fucker out of there.
Into like middle of fucking nowhere.
The greatest shot of the rings coming down in the atmosphere, dropping a predator, and then they all float away.
I love that he doesn't just bring them back to planet or something. It's like, I'm just gonna bring you to the middle of nowhere.
Outside. But then you lose your rings,
I guess, yeah. Unless they come back, unless you bring them back fast enough.
You like materialize. It's just like a replicator. It replicates rings.
Yeah.
Braytek asks if Teal'c is hurt.
This is my favorite line of the whole. I was gonna say movie because this plays like a movie.
Yeah.
Of the whole episode.
He's like, indeed, my pride.
Yeah.
And Sam wakes up. Jacob tells her not to move, and she's like, "That's fine. Everything hurts. I'm not moving."
Yeah.
Back and
I do love this part though, where it's like, if everything is hurting, that's good news. I love that, and I'm gonna go a little bit deep here because not only does that work physically, but emotionally. I've used lines similar to that. It's like, look, if everything is hurting,
you're at least feeling
then
something.
You're feeling it.
Yeah.
Which is better than not feeling.
Exactly.
Things, because the non-feeling of anything ever is sometimes
it's a sign
of not good.
Not good.
Yeah.
So back in the jungle, Jack, Burke, Daniel, and Lee are all back at the rebel camp. Mm-hmm. Air rescue will be here soon, so that's good. Yeah. They already got Raj, which is great. Daniel's happy to hear he's still alive.
Yeah.
Jack is gonna recommend Burke for a better posting.
Can you imagine what's gonna happen when Raj goes back to the cantina and tells the other guy, like, dude, let me tell you about, because he's gonna be like, how did you get all this cash?
Yeah.
Because he can take his buddy, they can go like fucking drink and like go, I don't know, do whatever other things guys do.
Is he gonna get more money than Pedro though? I'm hoping he does.
That's what I'm guessing.
That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah.
They're gonna be set.
But the stories that they're gonna have.
Oh yeah.
Good stuff. Anyway.
And they did turn the cube off. I mean, they think it's off. It's not glowing, so if it's not glowing, it shouldn't be on. So we're pretty sure it's off. But Daniel is going to hop a little further away from it. Doesn't really want to carry it anywhere.
Nice little, like stealthy hop. Like, I'm not actually hopping. I'm just moving away from you. Yeah.
So in the gate room, the rest of the team comes through the gate to meet and to greet Jack, Hammond, and Daniel and Crutches. Everyone's missions were successful except for the really bad news. There's a whole fuck ton of army soldiers, but
it's like everyone's missions were successful in that they're all alive.
Yeah.
But everyone's missions were kind of shit.
They were shit, but they did accomplish the goals that they set out to do.
Yes.
So Sam better be able to make a weapon out of this Teal'c device, or not good.
Yeah.
And as they leave, Jack tells Sam, "Hey, nice command.
Yeah.
How about lunch?"
Again, another little like shippy moment.
And they head off to lunch together.
Yeah. Whereas normally this is the scene where Sam would be like, "I've got to go work on this thing."
Yeah, I want to go to the lab and get my hands on the Teal'c device.
But now she's like, maybe
I'm really hungry.
Yeah. Or I'm not going to be R-rated.
Next episode, the name of it is Grace.
Yeah, that's me. This is the episode where I guest star.
Yes, Grace guest stars in this episode.
And just swoon over Daniel.
You just walk up and you're like Barbies. You just take Jack and Sam and go, now kiss! No kiss!
Out with like popcorn. And then I'm like, Daniel, you sit here. Go watch. And then it's like, Teal'c, do push-ups. Just do push-ups for me. And then work your staff weapon.
Yes, do pull-ups. You do pull-ups over there. Daniel, you sit here with the book. You two make out. Now go.
Everybody play. Go play.
Yes. Oh, now Teal'c staff weapon fight.
Yeah.
With Ishtar.
There you go. Done. I like it.
Alrighty, so I think we already ranked this on our list. I'm pretty sure nothing's moving.
Oh no, I think
you already had it as number 1.
At the top, then it's at the top.
But we do get another Indeed, so we're 31.5, and we also get another Crying Out Loud. We are at 37.
Done and done.
Yes.
This was fun. This
was
a
fun
very
episode.
Needed amounts of fun.
Did it end up in a nice, satisfactory way from last episode?
Yes. 1, it wraps up the last episode really good. 2, it sets up what I imagine is going to be something that comes up again.
Maybe a season finale type thing? Sounds like a season finale type thing.
It's, usually this is the time of the season when you start to look like what's going to be our big thing. What's our big bad at the end of the season? And it's like, oh, look, there it is.
Yeah, because we're at we're in episode 12, I think, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah.
This is episode 12.
So we're just about halfway through the season.
So it's this great, great development of like, hey, remember how this is a series where it's things happen at the end of the season.
There's always a big end season now ender. Yeah.
This is a little like droplet of that. Let's plant that little seed now. But tons of fun.
Yeah.
I dig it. I'm ready to watch the me episode.
The Grace episode.
Dun, 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 dun.
So we will see you next week.
Yes. We will be here with me and me. Also, the episode named me.
The next episode's AKA is just me.
Until then, you know where to find us. On Twitter, we're at Terra Podcast.
Facebook, There's No Place Like Terra.
Email us at theresnoplaceliketerra@gmail.com.
Patreon.com/theresnoplaceliketerra. Podcards are coming out this week for September. I know it's a bit late. I lost the pencil that I used to draw things on my tablet, but I found it.
Okay, good.
But that's why they hadn't been done, is because I couldn't find the pencil.
It's okay. Look, everything's a little bit behind right now.
We'll catch up.
The lessons were quite a bit late, too. These are actually way less late than the last
We're going to catch up, we promise.
We're getting there. It's just weird times of the
We're going to just get 2 out at one time here to catch up.
That's exactly
promise. Alrighty.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Oops, now end the stream. End the stream.